Good day, ladies and gentlemen. Today we'll be talking about measures of central tendency. We're going to be looking at things that are considered to be average, and those things would be the mean, the median, and the mode. All of these things can be used as an average value for a set of data. The one we typically associate with average is the mean. The formula for mean is given by the sum of all the x values, all the data values, divided by how many there are. And a couple of notations that we use for this, we're going to use x bar if we're dealing with the mean of a sample, or we're going to use mu, the Greek letter mu, if we're dealing with the mean of a population. Usually, we're dealing with x bar because it's real difficult to know every data value in a population. Median is middle. That is, put the data in order from least to greatest and find the number that's exactly in the middle. If there is an even number of data values, you take the two middle values, add them together, and divide by 2. We find the mean of those two middle ones. And the mode means most. We can have more than one mode, or we can have no mode. If there's two modes, we call it bimodal. One mode is unimodal. No mode means every data value is given exactly once. And what we're going to look at today is how to find the mean, median, and mode for lists of data, as well as data that's organized in frequency tables. So let's go, and we're going to use the calculator today, so get ready. Find the mode or modal class for these frequency tables. All right, so mode means most frequent data value. So 7, is 7 the answer? No. Is 4 the answer? No. 4 is a data value, but there's only one 4. You got to understand what this frequency table means. This row means that there are 3 3s, there are 3 2s, there are 7 1s, and 4 zeros. So if we thought of this as a list, that's the list of data that went there. So what is the most frequent item? The mode for this data set is 1. Now with table B, we don't have individual data values, we have these classes. So what we're going to do is we're going to give a modal class for this problem. Which class shows up the most? The most frequent class is right here. The modal class would be 15 is less than or equal to t less than 20. If we want to use interval notation, we could give it like this, including 15, not including 20, or a notation that IB uses sometimes would be that with a backward square bracket. Square brackets mean we include the number if it's wrapping it. A square bracket not wrapping the number means we don't include that value. Same thing, any of these three would be a correct answer, a correct way of giving this inequality statement. The mean. Okay, we know how to find the mean. We add up a bunch of data values, and then we divide by how many there are. So we have Lana's mathematics test grades. There are 4 of them, 87, plus 93, plus 89, plus 85. What score must she get on the 5th test? Okay, but there are only 4 tests. We don't know the 5th test. We're going to add on that mystery value. And then how do we find the mean of 90? Mean is 90, so we take all of the 5 test scores, add them together, and divide by how many there are. Be careful here, it's not 4, it's 5. Now, how do we solve this? Well, we solve this by adding these numbers together and then multiplying by 5, getting x by itself. So pause the video, solve this equation, please. Did we get 96? I hope so. If we didn't, okay, let's go through this. So if we combine like terms on the top, we get 354. We multiply by 5 on both sides. Now we have 354 plus x equals 450. we subtract 354 from both sides. X, that is the score on the fifth test, is 96. So Lana must earn a 96 on her final exam so that she gets an average score, a mean of 90 for the term. So now let's find the mean of each set of data here. These are frequency tables. Normally, to find the mean, to find x bar, we're going to add up the data values. And divide by how many there are. This sigma, this Greek letter sigma, means add up all of the x's. But what is this really? Okay, this means that there are 11 zeros, 10 ones, 19 twos, and 10 threes. We could type in 11 zeros, 10 ones, 19 twos, and 10 threes, but there's another formula that we can use for finding the mean if we have a frequency table. There are 10 ones, so that's really 10 times 1 and 19 times 2 and 10 times 3 when we're adding up these values. So let's change this formula. F times xi over the sum of the frequencies. Here are the frequencies. These are the xi values. So to do this, I'm going to jump to my graphing calculator, and we're going to find the mean of this with the calculator. I'm going to hit Control, add a page. We're going to add lists and spreadsheets. All right, so we have grade. Always give a name in the top row of the table. 0, 1, 2, 3. In column B, we have our frequencies. 11, 10, 19, and 10. Okay, so now how do we find our mean using this? By hand, simple enough. We would do 10 times 0, 11 times 0 plus 10 times 1 plus 19 times 2 plus 10 times 3 divided by the sum 11 plus 10 plus 19 plus 10. In the calculator, here's what we do. We're going to press Menu, Statistics, Stat Calculations, and this is a one variable statistic. Our number of lists is 1. Our statistic is the grade. Frequency is just counting. So our X list, our data list, is grade. This is why we give it a name. Our frequency list is, I called it Freak 1. And we don't have categories. And in column C, I have nothing. So the first result column in C is OK. I hit OK. Our mean is 1.56. All right, so example B, well, how do we do that? We have classes now. We have the first class going from 10 up to, but not including 12. What do we do? Well, what we need is we need the class marks. That's going to be our xi value. So what is the first class mark? We're going to go halfway between the 10 and the 12, so our first class mark is 11, and then 13, and then 15, and the next class would start with 18, so we go halfway in between those for 17. So in the calculator, I want you to do this. I want you to put the class marks into one column of a spreadsheet and the frequency into another column and see if you can get the mean. Pause the video and do that right now, please. All right, so let's see how we did. You should have a list and spreadsheet set up like this. Remember, we go Menu, Statistics, Stat Calc, one variable statistics, one list because we only have one list of data. Our X list is age. Our frequency list was FREQ, those were the names I gave the columns. The result column can't be in B. We need it to be C because column B had our frequencies. We hit OK. Our mean is 13.7. If you're allowed a calculator to do problems like this, there is really no work that you need to show. You do need to be very, very careful that you're putting in correct numbers to your calculator. I would recommend writing this column down to show what you're doing and what you're putting into the calculator. And lastly, median. Median is the number in the middle. If the number in the data set is even, the median will be the mean of the middle two. So remember, we have to put these in order from least to greatest. So I could take the time to write all of these out, and then I would just start crossing off from the two sides once they're in order from least to greatest. What I'm doing right now is very, very bad because they're not in order at all. But since I have a calculator, I don't need to put them in order. Let's go ahead and open another list, and we're going to type these data values in. So we go plus page, list and spreadsheet, and we'll call this list numbers. To 13, 7, 5, 19, 23, 39, 23, 14, 12, 55, 23, 29. Okay, so I have my entire list in here. Huzzah! Okay, so we have our list. Let's find the median. We don't have to put this in order. That's awesome. It's great. We're going to go statistics, stat calculation, one variable stats, one list, and our list is in A, or we can select it by name. We don't have a frequency list. We're going to leave our frequency as 1. Our results column we can put in B. We hit OK. There's our mean. We didn't care about the mean. But if we scroll down here, we'll talk about what some of this other stuff is. These other things are. N is 13. That means there were 13 data values. Our median is 19. It's that easy. It's that quick. We have our median from this list of data. We don't have to take the time to put it in order. So lesson here, if you're allowed a calculator, use it, please.